The scoreboard read 10-9. One more point, just one. The crowd was no longer cheering. They were holding their breath. 8,000 people. Silent. Even the commentators had stopped talking. Across the table stood the most dominant player in the world. Liam Noah, whose years of hard work is rewarded with 5 world titles, Olympic gold, a decade without humiliation. His face showed no emotion, but his fingers tightened around the paddle. Months ago he had laughed on live television. He had called Filipino table tennis unserious. He said they lacked precision, discipline, mental strength. He said they didn't understand the chess match of elite play. Now the arena lights felt hotter, because standing across from him was a Filipino player, and he was 1 point away from rewriting everything. The ball rested in the champion's open palm. Sweat slid down his wrist. For the first time in years. He hesitated. The sound of the crowd fades, heartbeat slow, heavy. Then, 6 months earlier, international press conference, bright lights, flags lined up behind the stage, cameras flashing every few seconds, the world's top players seated in a row. At the center, the champion Liam Noah, relaxed, comfortable, untouchable. A journalist raises his hand. As more Southeast Asian nations invest in table tennis, what advice would you give them? The room leans in. The champion adjusts his microphone. He smiles, not warmly, but knowingly. Investment is not enough, he says calmly. A few reporters nod. Then he continues. Elite table tennis requires discipline built over generations. He pauses, lets it sink in. Some countries simply don't have that. A murmur spreads through the room. He isn't shouting. He isn't angry. That makes it worse. He speaks like it's obvious, like it's fact. They rely on energy, emotion, power. He shrugs slightly. But at the highest level, that isn't enough. He never says Philippines, not once. He doesn't have to, because everyone in that room knows who qualified for the tournament that year, and everyone knows who has been trying to break into elite rankings. Camera flashes intensify. Some journalists exchange looks. 1 or 2 raise their eyebrows. Then the camera cuts. 3rd row, left side. A Filipino player sits quietly. His name, Mikel Alcaraz. No reaction, no interruption. His hands are folded, his face unreadable, but his jaw tightens, just slightly. Not anger, not embarrassment, something else, resolve. The champion continues speaking, confident, unbothered, certain. The press conference moves on, but the damage is already done. Within hours, clips begin circulating, edited, reposted, debated, shared with captions like, "Did he go too far? He's not wrong. Prove him wrong." The words travel faster than the ball ever could. And somewhere, in a quiet training hall, a Filipino player replays that clip, again, and again, and again. He doesn't respond publicly, he doesn't post online, he doesn't argue, he trains. He didn't grow up in a high-performance training center. He grew up around Noise neighborhood in Manila, motorcycles outside, neighbors arguing, music blasting from small speakers. His first table wasn't level. One side dipped slightly. The ball didn't bounce true. So he learned to adjust. He learned to read bad bounces. He learned to expect imperfection. His first paddle wasn't professional. The rubber peeled at the edges. The grip was wrapped in tape. When it tore, he taped it again. When it tore again, he kept playing. Crowded community halls, no air conditioning, sweat dripping onto the table, waiting in line just to get a turn, playing against older players, stronger players, angrier players. He didn't complain. He adapted. He applied for elite training once. They said no. Said he lacked refinement. Said he didn't have the temperament for strategic sports. Said he was too aggressive, too raw, too unpredictable. He walked out quietly. He didn't argue. He didn't post about it. He didn't defend himself. He trained. He wasn't offended. He was focused. Focused on footwork, focused on spin, focused on patterns, focused on the man who said countries like his didn't belong. And here's the question. If someone said that about your country, what would you do? Time jump, Asian championship, different city, different lights, same expectations. The Filipino player isn't supposed to make it far. He's not seeded, not favored, not discussed in pre-match analysis. Commentators barely mention his name, but something is different. Not louder, not dramatic, quieter, sharper, quick montage, a dim room at night, laptop screen glowing in the dark, match footage playing, pause, rewind, slow motion, pause again, close up on the opponent's shoulder before a serve, rewind, zoom, notebook open, handwriting filling pages, arrows, circles, timing notes, serve direction percentages. Another clip. Different tournament, same opponent, same habit. Pause, rewind. He isn't watching highlights, he's studying patterns, he tracks rhythm, serve placement after long rallies, body lean before backhand flicks. How often he attacks cross-court under pressure. He builds a map, not of the table, of the player. He wasn't preparing to beat the best player in the world, he was preparing to understand him. Cut to training hall, footwork drills, short bursts, shadow swings without a ball, coach feeding random spins, unexpected angles, chaos training, because predictability loses, adaptability survives, late night again, more footage, more notes. But here's what nobody knows yet. He isn't studying strengths, he's studying comfort zones, and comfort zones can be broken. Cut. Tournament bracket appears. Round 1, he wins. Close match, no headlines. Round 2, he wins again. Commentators call it surprising. Round 3. Now analysts start watching more closely, because something feels off. He isn't just playing aggressively, he's anticipating, moving early, reading patterns. But we still don't know how deep the preparation goes, and neither does the champion. Set 1. The first set went exactly as expected. Precision, control, authority, every serve curved sharply, every return landed within inches of the line. The champion moved like a machine that had rehearsed this moment 1,000 times. He took the set comfortably. The crowd relaxed. This was normal. This was predictable. Set 2. But then something shifted. The Filipino player stopped rushing. He shortened his swings, changed his timing, added side spin where none was expected. The rallies lasted longer. The champion adjusted, but now he was reacting, not dictating. The crowd began to murmur, because this wasn't in the script. Set 3 by the third set, tension had entered the arena. The Underdog was moving earlier, reading angles before they formed, and for the first time, the champion frowned. Not dramatically, just enough. Enough for cameras to catch it, enough for the commentators to notice. Momentum had changed sides. Set forward of the tone in the commentary box changed. You can feel the pressure building. This isn't supposed to happen. The champion was still technically perfect, but perfection looked uncomfortable. And the scoreboard no longer looked safe. The Filipino player studied hundreds of hours of footage. He learned subtle shoulder shifts before backhand shots, rhythm patterns in serves, emotional tells under pressure. He wasn't playing table tennis, he was playing the man. Ball toss, spin, return, long rally. The champion hits what should be a winner, but it comes back. The ball goes long, match over, crowd explodes. Mikel Alcaraz drops to knees. The champion Liam Noah approaches. No arrogance, just humility. Underestimated you. Handshake. Respect. Final message. Talent can dominate, but hunger can disrupt.